Hello everyone, how are you guys all doing today? My name is Mirko and welcome back to another brand new Apex Legends video. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys some crucial tips on how to take advantage of the storm in Apex Legends. Some people might see the storm as a negative thing, whereas very few people like me actually take advantage of the storm in game. The shout out from my last video goes to Jicky Coke, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, who says notification gang quick as lightning. This guy is always commenting within the first minute or two of my videos. Thanks for having that notification bell turned on, and I can guarantee he's down there right now in the comment section. As always, if you want to be featured in my next video, be sure you're liking this video and also commenting down below in the comment section. So now with all of this out of the way guys, let's go into the first tip on how to abuse and take full advantage of the storm in Apex. The first thing we're going to speak about are spawning teammates back in at respawn beacons. Now a lot of the time, especially halfway through the game, there are loads of respawn beacons, but a lot of them could be quite central or in really busy places, and it's almost guaranteed that there will be enemies nearby. Now the smart thing which I do every time when I have to spawn my teammates back onto the map is actually use a respawn beacon that's in the storm and not in the ring, because you're basically guaranteed to be safe, and the only thing that's really in your way is the storm damage. But if we pull up the ring damage on screen, as you guys can see, the ring damage isn't really that bad compared to other games like Fortnite in the end stage, where it can really take a chunk of your health, and when you have them bandages handy, you can really go far outside of the ring and get back safely. Now where it says damage per tick, you will usually get that knocked off around every 2 seconds. So for example, if you're in the first round, then 1 damage will come off of your health every 2 seconds. It's around 2 seconds, I don't know the exact time, but it's definitely over 1.5 seconds. You want to make sure you're stocking up on syringes throughout the game for these reasons like this, as you'll need them when you're in the storm. Syringes take 5 seconds to use and medkits take 8 seconds to use, which are really fast times, and you can last quite a long time in the storm. You want to make sure that you're not spawning your teammates in too far out into the storm to the point where they can't get back, but teammates do spawn in with a standard 100 health, so it will take quite a long distance for them not to be able to get back in time. I've always used this technique to spawn my teammates inside the storm just outside of the ring, and a lot of the time it has really worked out to my favour, and especially some locations that are really central and busy, you don't want to go to them locations, and you don't have to think that that's the only choice that you've got, because a lot of the time there are some really close respawn beacons that are only just outside of the ring. Now the next tip we're going to speak about is looting, because I've seen a lot of times when I've respawned my teammates back into the game, they're not going to their death crates because it's in the storm. Now I would always suggest going back for the loot even if it's in the storm, because most of the time it will only be maximum about 200-250 meters, and you most likely would have had bandages, medkits or some other sorts of healing. If you're using Pathfinder, you can really take advantage of the zip line that it has on offer. If you're using Wraith, you can set the portals in the correct positions to travel faster in the storm as well. Octane is also a really good legend for speed and movement, and you want to make sure you're using their abilities to its full potential when you're trying to run back for your loot. I would always recommend chasing your loot in the storm, because you won't probably get the best loot halfway through the game or towards the late stage of the game as you had before, and you always want to have the best loot possible, and you'll get a rough idea whether or not you'll actually make it whilst running through the storm, seeing how much damage it's taking out of you, and that will give you a rough idea on whether or not you will actually make it. Now the next thing I want to speak about is late rotation. Now this mainly comes into effect when both of your teammates are dead and you need to recover their banners. Now I'm sure you guys have been in that situation where both of your teammates are dead and there are 3 enemies surrounding their loot, and you're basically there deciding whether or not you should go in for the push, but 1 versus 3 is really not going to go down in your favour, and the best thing to do is to wait for the storm to come in to push them out and then pick up their banners. Their banners last for 90 seconds guys, and usually enemies are only looting up for about 20 to 30 seconds, and it's better to be patient and actually wait for them to go and then pick up their banners. And if you take storm damage, as I said earlier, as long as you've got syringes or medkits, you could just use them whilst rotating back into the ring. The enemies might have gotten away, but you have played the role of a team leader and you have recovered both of your teammates and brought all of your squad back into into the game again. Now, regardless of the storm, I'd still use this tactic even if the action is happening inside the ring and there's no rotation, because the chances of you going against 3 enemies is very unlikely, and if they're not actually aware that you're there, I'd wait it out and be patient. Hopefully they will go. Usually once they've looted up, they will go onto their next adventure, and you have 90 seconds, as I said, and the chances of them looting up within 90 seconds is very high, and this is where you need to be patient and just wait it out for the long run. The last tip I want to speak about is storm flanking. Now, there are a lot of times where you're fighting towards the edge of the ring and the storm is right to the side of you. Don't be afraid to flank around the storm and come up behind the enemies, because this situation is very unpredictable and the enemies wouldn't think in a million years that you would be flanking around the storm and coming up behind them. And I like to use this mainly because it's so unpredictable. This is mainly something you would use towards the late stage of the game where the ring is quite small and there's not a lot of options when it comes to flanking. So anyway guys, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I want you guys to take away one thing from this video besides the tips that I've mentioned, and that is, don't be afraid of the storm in Apex, because the storm really doesn't deal as much damage as some people think. And because of how common syringes are and loads of legends that have really good movement speed capabilities, you really don't need to be afraid of the storm. And when it comes to bringing teammates back in, rotating late, or using the storm in situational circumstances, you can really take this to your advantage and outplay opponents. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, be sure you're dropping a like down below, and if you're new to the channel, first of all I'd like to say welcome, and second of all, be sure you're subscribing so you don't miss out on any Apex Legends tips, discussions, all of that good stuff on the channel. Thank you all for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch all of you guys out in another Apex Legends video.